Welcome to the Blissful Bonus Mom podcast. I am your host, Simply McCase, and here we talk all things stepmom, family, and faith. Let's get into today's topic. So, my husband, his name is Joseph, and I remember the first day we met. It was during church service, and I really had to go to the bathroom, and we met in the hallway. And he stopped, introduced himself. Hey, my name is Joseph. Been watching you for a while now, and I really just wanted to introduce myself. I thought it was super weird. I just really wanted to go to the bathroom. And so, of course, not being rude, I said, hi, my name is Nikase. And maybe a week later, that's when we started to have conversations, because clearly the first time we met, that was not the end of anything, because here we are now, married. But I remember the first phone conversation we had, and we were on the phone for over 3 hours. Now, mind you, before we had a phone conversation, I did not know he had a child. But one of the things I did notice is that he did mention his son constantly throughout the conversation. And in my head, I'm like, cool, we're gonna be great friends. I had no intentions of dating my husband, but guess what? The more we spoke on the phone, the more I fell in like with him. And I was like, oh my goodness. What am I getting myself into? Prior to meeting my husband, I had no intentions on getting married. I had no intentions of having children. It just was not a desire of mine. I was not seeking to date anybody. I was minding my own business and doing my thing. But there was something so different with my husband. And it was the fact that every time we got on the phone, it was hours of just getting to know each other. And I said to myself, well, not even to myself, to the Lord. I said, Lord, what's going on? I can't do this because he has a child. How is this going to work? I should probably stop talking to him now. Clearly, that did not happen. But the more I prayed about it, the more I talked about it, the more I talked to him, I realized that the Lord placed Joseph and I in each other's life for a reason. I was meant to be in his, he was meant to be in mine, and we were not meant to just be friends. God made that very clear. But the flesh in me was like, okay, usually all I've ever heard with people having children is the drama that comes along with it. And I really sat there and I thought one day, am I willing to do all of this for this man? Am I willing to lose him because he has a child? And no. I knew, like I mentioned before, I knew he was meant to be in my life more than just a friend. So what I did was, not only did I get to know him while we were dating, I got to know his son. Oh, my beautiful stepson, David. I love him so much. I remember the first time I met him. He was just a baby. I remember the first time I met him, and I was head over heels over this little boy. His little drool hit my phone, and I was like, oh, I'm in love with you. You're just the cutest thing. It just brought such joy to my heart. See, when dating someone who has a child, you're not only just dating him. You have to get to know the child as well. You have to build a bond with that child. Don't go into the situation thinking the worst. Don't get me wrong. There's times where I'm like, okay, did I make the right decision? But every time I thought that, I was always reassured, like, yes, you are making the right decision. But listen to what I'm saying. It's a decision. No one put a gun to my head and forced me to marry this man. No one put a gun to my head and forced me to become a stepmother. I knew that becoming his wife, I also become a stepmom. You have to remember that the child is innocent in all of this. They didn't ask to be here. They were a byproduct of a relationship that just did not work out. So you have to love that child. And I do say you have to love that child, because how can you help raise a child that you don't love? That doesn't make any sense to me. You love the husband, you love the man that produced the child, but you can't love the child? I had plenty opportunities to leave my husband when we were dating, because you're dating. I chose to stick it out. I didn't know my husband was going to be my husband. I just thought he was going to be my friend. He didn't hide his child. He made it very clear from our first conversation that he had his child. I had plenty of open doors to leave, but I stayed because I knew that man was going to be my husband. So guess what? I'm going to love every part of him, and that includes David. This is your family. They were becoming my family while I was dating. So why didn't I run when I met my spouse? 1, because I only thought he was going to be my friend. And 2 is because I really fell in love with him. And falling in love with him, I also fell in love with my son. I knew he came as a pair. I knew all of that prior going to marriage. But their love for me trumps everything. I'd do it all over again. So these are the things you have to really think about. If you are dating someone with a child right now and you're not married and you're wondering, did I make the right decisions? Think about it. Is the cost of losing that person worth it? Get to know the child. If you really don't like the child, marriage is lifelong. So as you're getting to know the child and you're like, okay, I can't do this. Do not get married to that man, because you will cause so much drama between your husband and the child if you don't have a good relationship with the child. You will end up resenting the child, or you'll probably end up resenting your husband. And it wouldn't be his fault. And you know why wouldn't it be his fault? Because you had the opportunity to not marry him. You made the decision to marry this man, and you knew what came with it. So come on, we're all about positivity and loving and showing the best way to love. I know sometimes it can be difficult. It can be difficult because it comes with different trials. It comes with different drama that you could never really prepare for. But I truly believe that love trumps everything. You just love the best way you can. So you have to ask yourself, are you okay with not just loving your spouse? Are you okay with not having his first child? Can you not look at the child as a burden? These are the things you ask yourself, and you make your decision. I think I've made the best decision ever. And I'm glad that God knows me better than I know me. Because if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I'd be married right now. I'd do it all again, though. I would. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Go ahead and subscribe and share with your people. If you know anybody that needs to listen to this, go ahead and share it with them. If you know any stepmothers, share it with them. If you would like more content, there will be links down below in the show notes. I love you, but Jesus loves you most. Bye.